Hey guys, welcome to Fighting Words, the martial arts library. My name is Joe, and this is a segment I call Tangent Tuesday, where I pick a subject and I talk about it. Before I get into it, just a couple of quick updates. Um, I would encourage people to look at my Friday video where I presented my latest purchases and comment on that video, or go to the community page where I have a poll up on which of the books that I've listed, the three that I called out, that you'd like to see me do first. Also, this Friday, I'm going to have a book review up that is a result of another community poll. You know, I do listen to you guys when I get the chance. Also, these are books that I have recently written outlines for. We'll be doing recording reviews for them soon. Karate Kimpo by Kinwa Mabuni, translated by Mario McKenna. Jeff Thompson's Real Self-Defense. This will complete the Real series from Jeff Thompson, and I'm going to put that in a playlist once I'm done. Choi Le Fut Gong Fu by Doc Fai Wong and Jane Hallander. This this came out earlier than I thought, because I remember getting it in the 90s, and I think its copyright date is 1985. Then there's Combat Jiu-Jitsu by Norman Leff. So again, outlines for all those are done. So those are upcoming reviews that you guys can look forward to. So today's topic. Gather round, children, and I shall take you back to the ancient times of the early 2000s. So, uh, I was part of online discussions, and of course, mixed martial arts was the new hotness then. And at that time, most of my formal training had been in karate. The subject came up about, karate is not useful for mixed martial arts. And it was contrasted with Muay Thai. And as a karate guy, I'm thinking like, okay, well, in Muay Thai they have punches, and in karate we have punches. In Muay Thai they have kicks, and we have kicks in karate. And knees and elbows, we have all the same stuff. Why do people think that this one thing is useless and this other one is essential? And the short answer is training methodology. But that's not really what I'm here to talk about. That could be a whole other video unto itself. It probably will be someday. But I think it was a mistake to see a style or any style as sort of a monolith. Like you have to take it in its entirety and then make a judgment call on it. So it's either entirely good or entirely bad, right? Now this is something we see all the time. Having been exposed to a number of martial arts, not just my library, if you look at my channel, I have a video on multi-style camps because I've been to multi-style camps. Those are multi-day training events where, at 9 o'clock there's going to be a karate guy, and at 10 o'clock there's going to be Krav Maga, and 11 o'clock there's going to be capoeira. And you get these little seminars of each of these different things. And here's the thing, if you look at martial arts as I have to study the entirety of this thing and it's either useless or useful, then I think you're missing out on a lot. Because one thing I have found through my studies is that every martial art that I have encountered that isn't based on magic, we got like the no touch knockout guys. But every martial art that is founded in reality either has taught me something useful or has reinforced something useful that I have learned from somewhere else. So I guess what I'm saying is this, is when we take a look at martial arts, at a martial art, to determine whether or not we can learn something from it, then we need to look at it from its composite pieces and, take a look at different techniques, take a look at different training methods, different concepts. Let's go with Wing Chun Kung Fu, which has a lot of people who are just obsessive fans of it and a lot of people that think it's useless. Guess what? In a nuanced world, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. I had the privilege to study Wing Chun, I wouldn't say consistently, but throughout a 4 or 5 year period. And several of my regular training partners had studied it more in depth. And one thing that I noticed is that the way it's typically trained in most places, there's not a focus on things that would be practical to the average person. However, while it would be easy to sort of dismiss that as like, okay, you're not going to do a trapping sequence that's going to go back and forth 5 times. Okay, that's true. But is it not useful to learn how to clear someone's arm out of the way so you create a path to attack, right? Wing Chun is useless. Like, okay, but are you telling me that a punch to the face is useless? Are you telling me that a kick to the leg is useless? Because those are in the system. Elbows, open hand strikes. As far as training methodologies, I like Chi Sao. Uh, Probably not a very formalized version of it, but one thing I noticed when I was trying to clinch with people who had a strong Wing Chun background is that they were able to easily redirect my incoming limbs because that's what Chi Sao develops. That's the skill that it brings out in you. Different martial art. Recently, one of my viewers asked me to ultimately to do a video, but basically look over 2 sources of Bujinkan Taijutsu. And long story short, I'll probably get to that eventually. But I prefer to do full reviews of the sources first before I do a compare and contrast video. But I did give my feedback. Anyway, during the course of that, let me tell you something. I can understand why looking at some of the stuff from the Bujinkan from the outside, one might be doubtful of its effectiveness because, one of my favorite things to point out that's just kind of goofy, there's a sequence that there's one of the things that they do is to basically like do a pro wrestling style drop kick to the guy's chest and fall back, break fall and then roll to your feet. And it's just hard for me to imagine an environment where that's your best option, right? On the other hand, I also came across in one of the sources, there was a series of drills or techniques showing how, someone's going for a turning throw, like a shoulder throw or a hip throw. These are various things that you can do in order to break the structure of the person trying to get that throw. And they will be unable to accomplish that. So if I just focused on the thing that I thought was goofy, I would have missed the thing that I think is going to be pretty useful. And at the end of the day, the way I look at martial arts are these are going to be sources for me to get better at not dying, get better at hand to hand combat, basically. And while I understand that seeing some demos or seeing some, let's say, strategic mismatches might encourage one to not look into a certain martial art. My view is that instead of looking at it as, again, this monolithic structure, like I can't separate the drop kick stuff from the learning how to not get thrown stuff, you know, that's stupid. We should be open minded enough. We should approach this as scientists, frankly, and we should be willing to see a martial art in its totality, but not just as a single unbroken structure. You know, it, that is useful for things like passing along a cultural tradition. That's fine. But if we're talking practical application, there are things that I have taken from, traditional jujitsu, standing locks, that I have been able to use in grappling sparring. There have been, striking methods that are a little unconventional that, I've picked up from things like, Panantukan and Wing Chun Kung Fu and a few other things that I've been able to use in like kickboxing sparring. And if I hadn't opened myself up to, investigating these different things, and instead of dismissing them outright, going, all right, let's put on the gloves and the mouth guard, and let's give this a shot. Let's see if I can pull this off in this environment. I would be less of a martial artist if I hadn't explored those avenues. So yeah, that's my message today. Instead of just dismissing an entire martial art, I think if you were looking for the practical side of things, or you're looking to get just more in depth in your own martial arts studies, it's definitely worth trying to understand what actually goes into a martial art beyond the surface stuff, to take a broader view of it. And I promise you, if you have a firm base already in striking art, or grappling art, or weapons art, you're going to find something in there like, oh, I can relate this to something I do. They're doing it a little bit differently. I wonder if I could take that and use it. And yeah, that's my message. Be open-minded, embrace different things, cross-train, you know, even if it's just meeting up with friends who do a different style than you, and spar, drill, and just work on expanding your mind and seeing more options in the world of martial arts. Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.